Welcome to Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. I'm your host, Marcellus Wiley, alongside shotgun riding, 6-time Emmy Award winner, John Brenkus, founder of Brinks TV, who always brings a smile to my face, always brings energy to the party. But now we need your knowledge, big dog, because we're going to journey around the NFL playoffs. Specifically, something is going viral, I guess, now, the Wiley Curse. And look, I know Drake is the curse, and he's the gold standard of curses. But I play for 4 teams that all made the playoffs, and the conversation should just end right there. But it doesn't. You know, people like to poke at you. So now they're like clowning me out there because the Chargers lost, the Bills lost, the Jags lost, and the Cowboys lost. So sports science himself, Guru, please tell me, one, there's no curse, and certainly there's no Wiley's curse.
Listen to me. I have to tell you that there is a way for us to arrive at the conclusion as to whether or not the Wiley curse is real or not. Herbert, I want you to take my phone. Marcellus, you're going to join me on this journey. We're going to go through the scientific process. So let's define a question to investigate. What's the question?
Wiley curse, is it real or not?
All right, make a prediction. So let's say it was on Friday. I say, here's my prediction. The Wiley curse is real. All 4 teams that Marcellus has played for, they're going to lose. That's my prediction. So let's move down. Let's gather the data. I tune in. I'm watching it. Data's coming into my eyeballs. Let's analyze the data. All right, I just see the score. That's the data. And I'm going to draw a conclusion. And guess what? The Wiley curse is real. There is no scientific evidence to the contrary.
Oh, my goodness. No, it can't be that simple. Look, we must have learned that, what was it, 7th grade or something? And no wonder we didn't keep talking about it after that. That is too childish. That's too simplistic. What do you got, some witches brew in the back as well? And don't want to meet your daughter's boyfriend? Like, we can't go that place. There's no way I'm a curse when I am a blessing if I played on 4 teams that had a culture or organization that allowed them to have a chance in the dance and make the playoffs in the first place. So how can I be both? If anything, I'll take the duality of like, all right, look, you rise to a certain level, but you don't get over the hump. But you can't call me a curse, can you, John?
Yes, I can. This is why. I get not only a curse is a sure thing, right? A curse is not like, well, maybe they'll lose. It's definite. And do you want to know the difference between you and me during these NFL playoffs? I've gotten a lot richer because I just go the opposite way. I'm like, well, what did Marcellus say? So I'm going to put money down on the opposite. Turns out that it's 100%.
Oh, man, that is funny. I'm not going to lie. Look, I've heard it for years because of my Clippers love. I say Clip City. I've been saying Clip City, Chip City since 2014, and then 15, 16. And we're in 2023. I'm still saying Clip City, Chip City with no chips. That said, when I saw that Buffalo game, and I remember I was running in the house for my son's football game. We won. We're the Buffalo Bills. Told you I'm not a curse. So my flag football team won as the Bills. We run in the house, turn on the game. Immediately, you get the landscape picture. You see the snow falling. I saw some kid like licking his tongue out like I'm in Orchard Park, gang, baby. I was like, there's no way the Buffalo Bills with home field advantage and snow field advantage is going to lose that game. And when they lost that game and the way they lost that game, remember, DeMar Hamlin's in the building. The dude has died twice and has recovered in 2 weeks to inspire the Buffalo Bills. And they go out there and play that way. That was the first time I felt like maybe that curse does have a target. Maybe it does have a destination with me.
Well, what I can tell you is that the curse is very real, and this is why. Curses don't exist for like week 5 or 6 of the regular season. I mean, no one's even paying attention, right? It's only when it matters and it counts. One thing that I can tell you, you are the ultimate locker room fodder for the Cincinnati Bengals. When that snow started falling and people were saying, oh, Bengals don't like snowflakes. and they're warm weather animals. Somebody forgot to tell Joe Burrow that. And his quote after the game of pure domination from beginning to end, that's what we expected. I mean, that is like, wow. He's going all the way. You know what he's doing right now? He's already planning the parade in Cincinnati because the Bengals they got such a swagger. If they happen to lose next week, Joe Burrow's you know what he's going to do? He's going to say, dude, we're playing for next year. We're going to win the Super Bowl next year. He's that confident. It doesn't resonate with him when he does something wrong, and that's what makes him a great quarterback.
I will give you that. Like, he does have that Teflon skin. Like, you could tell that this team rallies around him, his confidence is sky high all the time, whether it's off the field with the swag and just his coolness, but on the field, just doing what is necessary to go out there and win ball games. I give you that. But look, they didn't win the Super Bowl last year, and they had all this swag and all this stuff. This year, they're going against Kansas City, who seems like they can't be stopped, unless Patrick Mahomes and his injury, which we're going to talk about coming up, is going to derail them. But I want to quote someone that the world's richest man, so maybe he's successful in some respects. I digress. Well, Elon Musk came out and said, the two worst possible curses you can have, Will, one is you will live forever. Two, you can have anything you want. Sounds like you want to slide a third one in there, that if Marcellus played on your team or root for your team, you're a curse. But address those first two. Do you believe that it would be a curse to live forever? Who says that?
It definitely would be a curse to live forever if you keep aging. I mean, who wants to be like, dude, I'm 95 and I got another infinity ahead of me. Like, dude, if you can live forever, I want to stop at like 17 and be like, now I want to live forever. You can't break your leg when you're 17. You're indestructible. Yeah. And most importantly, you know it all. Like, so I would be at 17, you could be a know-it-all who can't be destroyed. It'd be awesome. But if you're 95, 100 years old, no, I'm tapping out. I'm finding the exit sign.
You sound just like a guy in his early 50s. Like, oh, you know what? I'm in the third quarter of my life, and who says that I will want to go to overtime? 4 quarters is enough ball for me. That's it. Get your ass around 95 years old. You're going to be like, please give me another 95. I need 95 more. This was amazing. No one wants to tap out of the game of life. I don't care who you are. As long as you got conscious thought, you could be just sitting there on the tubes with the tubes into you on the bed. As long as I can say, hey, girl, I am going to live forever. But what about the fact that you can have anything you want? Like, you really think that's a curse?
I actually completely disagree with him because my philosophy is that I already have everything I want. This is, and I mean this for everybody in the world. This is absolutely true. Just picture, and I'm not talking about yachts, planes. I'm just saying like anything. He's not saying like, oh, I'm going to get a yacht or a plane or whatever. He's just saying you can get anything you want. Okay, let's just think of everyday items. Guess what? You out there, you have everything you want. Amazon is just storing it for you. That's it. So you already own it. All you do on your app is you hit, please release the item I already have and bring it to me. It's like we are all kings, right? Bring it to me, Jeff Bezos. I want you to bring me that tube of toothpaste. That's how it feels. We already have everything.
Oh, preach, brother, preach. I'm glad you addressed that. We know that there's no such thing as a curse of living forever, and certainly not an abundance of things in this world, because if I had everything I want, which I already possess, then certainly giving me more of that would not be a problem as well. I'm glad we didn't talk about me being the third item on that list for Elon Musk or for you, John Brenkus, because we all know being real. Without me cursing that I am not a curse. Well, coming up, we're going to continue with the NFL, but we're going to talk Patrick Mahomes' injury, specifically a high ankle sprain from Mr. Sports Science himself and just a former player who had too many high ankle sprains. That's all coming up next on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. Marcellus Wiley, John Brenkus, both on Brinks TV and Reach TV. And right now we're feeling good, but that's not the state of the Kansas City Chiefs right now. In particular, their star quarterback and Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. And John, as soon as I saw that injury, I knew it had to be a high ankle sprain just because of his lack of mobility, the lack of pressure he could put on it. I've been there before. But then I thought about you, partner. I said, John is going to break this injury down. So let the layman out there know, what is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs dealing with this high ankle sprain?
Well, they're doing, as you know, man, the truth is every time you sprain your ankle, it never comes back to 100%. That's actually true. So breaking your ankle is better than spraining your ankle because you can heal it. And when it heals, it's stronger than it was before. But sprains don't work like that. So how are the Chiefs dealing with this? Well, first of all, a lot of electrical stimulation, a lot of, rest. They're not going to have him running around. They're going to make sure that he is staying nice and still all week. And then it just comes down to, well, how much coordination can Patrick Mahomes keep while hopped up on Toradol or whatever the painkiller is of the day? Because there's no way he comes back on his own in 6 days, 7 days. Like it hurts and it's tough to come back from that. With all of that being said, I feel like the Chiefs are unstoppable if Mahomes is even at 75% of himself. Yes, that's not a diss on the Bengals. It's just that I think the Chiefs are that good because any team that's willing to play ring around the rosy on a field, they've got a lot of trick plays up their sleeve and a lot of ways to sort of distract you from paying attention to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, man, they better have those tricks because if Patrick Mahomes goes out there and he's limited like he looked last week, look, this is the problem with it. Last week he was on the adrenaline train, and we know how that goes. At that halftime, they sat him down, said, look, we got to get an x-ray, make sure nothing's broken. Okay, nothing's broken. Now, you want to play? Here we go. Here comes the long arm of the law. It's called the needle. We're going to put this needle in there, take all of this medicine, all 28 syllables of it, the baka-baka-lakaline, and put it all in there. And then guess what? Go on out there with that adrenaline and you hyped up and you got some of the medicine, you're fine. But then you're going to have an entire week for not only you to try to rest and recover and rehab it, but next pregame, you're going to be compromised because you have this injury. We're going to give you the medicine. We're going to hope you can be hyped up on the adrenaline. But when you're compromised, you're not running around in pregame the same way you were the week prior. I've been in this position before where you actually can finish a game, so everyone assumes you're just going to come back from where you left off. The problem is you're going to start at a deficit because they're trying to give you the medicine. Okay, I'm numb to it, but now I haven't fully recovered and I can't get to that same place emotionally or with my body physically. So Patrick Mahomes, high ankle sprains, man, I usually don't see that guy the next week. I still think because of the stakes, because it's the AFC Championship game, their fifth in a row, he's going to trot out there. But I don't know if that horse is going to make it around the track or that horse going to turn into glue.
Well, here's what's going to motivate him. Isn't he like guaranteed $500 million or something?
That's Seriously. It. Yeah, just $500 million. Yeah.
I mean, when it's like that, they're going to put whatever they want into his leg and he's going to play. So I can tell you they're not like, look, we need to hold back. No. You're getting $500 million. You're going to go out there and you're going to play. We're riding this horse all the way. And if we lose, we lose. We win, we win. But there is a 0% chance he doesn't play.
No, I give you that. But when I saw him doing the handoffs and you saw his gait, you saw his movement patterns, and it's like normal stride is left, right. He was going left, not right, left. I don't want to land on my, whatever it is. When you're in that place, you're clouded right now because you're hyped up, you're on the field, you want to finish what you started. But you have time to reassess. You have time to revisit this. All of this week, we know Toradol, all of the injections, pills, whatever it may be, just to get you back to a level of comfort and feeling normal. Problem is, when you go out there and now you know that you're hurting, and then you try to do the same things. How does that usually turn out? Most guys would probably tap out before that. Expect a lot of shotgun snap, ball out real fast. The running game has to be tight. Center, guard. It can't be the extended runs. It can't be the stretch runs. I don't even know if he can make it out there fast enough. So a lot of things for you have to decide.
Yeah.
A lot of things you have to figure out.
Marcellus, tell me this. What's the worst sprain you had, high ankle sprain, that you had to kind of muscle your way through?
Yeah, I had one in college, the first one, because I'm old school. So we used to just have ankle sprains. And then everyone said, wear high tops so you won't have your ankle sprain, right? And then when you did, it was a low ankle sprain. And then around the mid-90s, just when our stomach became the core instead of just a stomach, and I was like, all right, now I'm hearing high ankle sprains, and I had one. And let me tell you, not only is your foot limited, not only is your low ankle limited, it comes up the shin, it gets the calf, it grabs the knee, and that's why you saw Patrick Mahomes not able to be mobile out there. It's not just the ankle sprain, tape it up, let him go, he'll be fine. When it comes from the knee down, it's like you're really out there with one leg. And it looked like a one-legged Mahomes was good enough to win last week. But them Bengals, they look a little different. We'll see if that will be enough for them to go forward. Coming up on Never Shut Up, we're going to talk about fake viral. That's right. TikTok has admitted that all y'all ain't popping like y'all think y'all popping. They're helping you out a lot more than you think. That's next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. Marcellus Wiley, John Brenkus here, and we're really here. Like, this is the real John Brenkus, the real Marcellus Wiley. But a lot of people online, especially on TikTok, are fake, or at least their success is fake, because they came out with a story, TikTok, talking to Forbes magazine about how they quote unquote heat certain creators and certain stories to go viral. So when I heard this story, I was like, wait a minute. So the success and the numbers are not based on the content alone. It's actually getting the machine behind it and choosing who should go and be viral, be popping, and who should not. And when I heard this story, reminded me of some of the conversations that John and I have had about virality. So John, break it down. What was your reaction to hearing this story?
Here's my reaction. Everybody needs to just stop and use your brain and follow the money. Who benefits by giving out awards and having a platform with a lot of quote followers? Who benefits? The platform, the whomever, right? So let's just go real simple. The Oscars. Who votes on the Oscars? The people who make the movies. Like, who benefits? The movie makers. And you're like, oh my God, like, you got everybody in the room and you're like, guys, I mean, think about how it started. Hey, listen, we all made a movie. All 10 of us in the room, we all made a movie. Let's vote on best movie. Just the 10 of us, right? You're going to win it this year. You're going to win it next year. You're going to win it. And we're going to tell the world, this is the best movie ever. Who benefits? Yeah. All of us benefit, right? Because we're all competing. Now you have a social media platform. And you're like, now what happens if I have a social media platform and no one shows up? We lose. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take accounts and we're going to kingmate. We're going to say, you have 10 million followers and you have 10 million followers. And the people who are on the account like, oh my God, look at how popular I am. Just do the math in your head and understand this. I'm telling you, 90+% of all of the social media love that you look at and you go, oh my God, I can't believe how many people love The Rock or Donald Trump or whatever. They're fake followers, they're buying engagement, and they're doing the simple formula. I am going to buy the perception that I'm super popular, and the perception that I'm super popular will draw people in because it's FOMO. It's fear of missing out. And they purchase it. It's a simple game. And I'm not even knocking them for doing it. I'm knocking the people who actually believe it's real. That's who needs to wake up. Let people want to market, make it seem like they're insanely profitable or popular, but it's really not real. So the customer needs to know, dude, you're being played. Just admit it, and that's fine. Let them play you, but don't be so silly as to turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, man, I totally understand where you're coming from. This is kind of like my WWF moment to WWE when you realize, like, yo, wait a minute. Hulk Hogan wasn't really trying to kill Iron Sheik? Like he was having choreography with him? I was like, what? I'm not watching anymore. What are you doing? And look, I'm not going to log off of TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, but it is really interesting. The first time I felt something weird, wasn't just by who was popular, because I was like, yeah, it's justified. Like every now and then there's a rare occasion, you're like, they're that popular? But most people you kind of could see and connect with it. But it was when the word algorithm was getting thrown around so loosely that it was really trying to change our user behavior. So instead of just saying, hey, put on a great post, be popular yourself and it's going to take off, they started to say, well, you need to rig the algorithm. You need to play to the algorithm. Like you got to catch a wave at 5 a.m. in the Pacific Ocean or else you're just going to sit out there and drown. I'm like, what do you mean play to the algorithm? Well, there's certain times, there's certain content, there's certain context, there's certain moments. And I'm like, what is going on? And when you hear that it's institutional, like they're heating it up. So literally, if we just feel like we want to hype up dogs that water ski today, whoever the next person puts a post up about a water skiing dog, we're going to light that thing up and there's 20 million views from that. To me, that feels a little dirty. Even though I know the whole game is dirty, that just hits different.
Yeah, it does. And what's ridiculous is they're really jumping the shark. TikTok has totally jumped the shark. You're like, look, it started with MySpace, then it moved on to Facebook, and it moved on to Instagram and Twitter and everything else. And now it's TikTok. And TikTok, listen, who owns them? You all know who owns them. And who benefits by saying, oh, we're the most popular platform on the planet. Oh, advertisers pay us lots of money because look at how many stars we've made. And then you go, oh, these people, I can't believe this girl in this place has 40 million followers. Can you believe that? Like, no, I don't believe it because it's not real. It's not true. And when they sit back, they all do. Here's what's funny is that brands go, oh, I can't wait for them to post about me. I'm going to sell a ton. Do you know the number of stories of like, we've got a product, we got Celebrity X behind it, and it did nothing, but they have 40 million loyal followers on TikTok. Just everyone just understand it's just a game. It costs X to make it look like you're popular, and you're hoping that you're going to yield Y, and Y needs to be bigger than X because you're going to keep the differential. It's called arbitrage. I paid $5 and I'm going to make $10. That's how the whole game works.
Yeah, that is how the game works, which is crazy because even when you get paid for any engagement, get paid for any marketing deals, including myself, I throw myself in the fire. You know, you got your followers, right? I got over 500,000 followers. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you do a post that's an ad for any company. Your followers are like, boy, stop. Don't be trying to sell me like that, right? And it's from Kim Kardashian on down. Like they may get 2 million clicks on most videos, and then they try to put that ad out there, 38,000, 90,000. So my point is, if you're going to try to really reach the audience, you got to get out of that old traditional model. Come to Brinks TV. Come to Reach TV. We engage with the audience. This is real. No fake virality over here. Well, that concludes our show on Reach TV, but we're not done yet. Go to Brinks.tv to catch the full episode as we're now going to discuss Shannon Sharpe. Sitting courtside at a Lakers game, but boy, did he want to play. So we're going to talk about that. Team Shannon, Team Memphis, all of that on Brinks TV. Log on, sign up for an account. and catch us in full. See you in a sec. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. Full episode on Brinks TV right now. Marcellus Wiley, John Brenkus is in the building. It's time to pour some hot sauce out. You know, we're not going to just have meat and potatoes. Time to get a little spicy here as we go from Compton to Columbia with our topic today. Shannon Sharpe, courtside at the Lakers game against the Memphis Grizzlies, and all of a sudden there was more fireworks than just shots being made. There were shots being taken from Dillon Brooks to Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe to T. Morant, who's Ja Morant's dad, who looks younger than Ja Morant, so Ja Morant's older than his father, and then security, and then the crowd, and then next thing you know, Shannon had to get escorted out, to get escorted back in. But John, when you saw this all occurring, and it went viral, so we know we're going to talk it, what was your first reaction?
My reaction is always to be skeptical, because when you're like, look, when you're in media, you know how much is just kind of set up to happen. And when someone wants attention or needs attention or feeds off of attention, you kind of figure out little stunts to do. And then what the best way for it to be a quote stunt is to say, that wasn't a stunt. Oh my God, that wasn't a stunt. But everybody's now talking about the fact that it wasn't a stunt. That's the stunt. So, and what's interesting to me is, let's just do the math. Listen, I don't know Shannon Sharpe well. I've only met him in passing a few times at parties. You know him much better than I do. He is a showman. I mean, he's a showman on the field. He's a showman on TV. He is brilliant. He's super smart, just really, really well-versed in the art of getting attention. And that's not a pejorative. That's a compliment. Do we really think that Shannon Sharpe, with everything he has going on in his life and his career, especially professionally right now, is he actually going to throw a punch like on national TV at a sporting event? He's going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw away my life now. Like, that's not happening. So this whole like, let's break him up. Let's get in the middle of it. He's not going to throw a punch anyways, dude. It's a publicity stunt.
Yeah, it's interesting. I went to the same place initially. Look, it was premeditated for me because they've been talking about the Memphis Grizzlies for a minute, going back and forth. This is a team that hasn't accomplished anything, so why are they always chirping? Kind of was Shannon's line before, weeks ago, right? Then all of a sudden, it's Laker home game. Who's courtside? Uncle Shannon. And not only is he courtside for the Memphis Grizzlies games, but we're starting to see that engagement. LeBron hits a shot, and he says something to Dillon Brooks. Too small to guard LeBron. Duh. I think every NBA player ever probably falls in that category, even if you're bigger than LeBron. You just don't have the same girth. So then Dillon Brooks barks back, fuck you. Okay, now we got something here. You know, gas meets fire. We got something. But then that's when I was like, wait a minute, this can't be real. Really? Shannon's like, yo, bring the smoke right here. Courtside, seat 7. I'm right here. I want you, Dillon Brooks. And probably Dillon Brooks like, dog, like, are you serious? Like, you remember in, what was it? The movie they said, never go full retard. What was that movie? Yes. Tropic Thunder. That's what it was. He's like, you never go full, I want all the smoke. Like, not full all the smoke, because then somebody gonna pull your card. Steven Adams shows up. What's up, partner? Now, Steven Adams didn't want it all, because he's thinking, too, if I hit Shannon Sharpe, that ain't gonna be good for business, right? Yeah. But this security guard, he put him in a windmill real fast. I was like, you do not want to fight Aquaman. And then you see T. Morant show up, and I'm like, he don't want none of these problems. He just know that if his son sees that he didn't jump in for him, he ain't going to no more games, right? So I was like, this is just theatrics at its finest, though. It was something that I was like, it feels contrived, even though I know they're really heated in this moment. But they wanted this moment to happen. To me, is why it didn't feel so authentic.
I got a question for you, Marcellus. What's the maddest you ever got at someone chirping at you on the field?
Great point. The maddest, I would say, a Philly game when I got hit in the head with a snowball that was really just a D battery that was packed. It was a snowball packed with a D battery, and it hit me in the helmet pregame. Wow. Now I just was like, normal snowball. Then I was like, that kind of hurt. And then I was like, I live in Buffalo, so I know what a snowball should feel like. That ain't this. And I got a helmet on, look down. It was a Duracell just sitting there, little bunny doing this or something, right? And I was like, what the hell? This dude just gonna hit me with that. But I think from that moment, what I learned from this Shannon Sharpe experience is like, Shannon, you're a Hall of Famer. You're a beast. You've been on the field before, and people have chirped and done all kind of things to you. Probably threw snowballs with batteries in them as well. When did you ever jump in the crowd? So why are you challenging Dylan Brooks and John Morant to come to the sideline? Like, you know they're not doing that because you never did that. And that's another layer where I was like, doesn't feel as real as it should be because Shannon knows better. So why is he calling the dogs to not bark and bite?
I'll tell you what, about the only real scuffle that I remember is, remember when Rasheed Wallace was playing for the Pistons and he jumped into the crowd and was throwing haymakers? Like, that was real.
Malice in the Palace? Yeah, that was real. That was real.
That was real. That was not premeditated, I'm going to do a publicity stunt. That was a man losing his mind.
Yes, that was real. What about you, John? Well, I digress. I'm about to hear some cupcake, Twinkie, Vienna story that you have never had a fight, never been mad. Please give me one.
Listen, here's the God's honest truth. I've never been in a fight. I've never thrown a punch. I've never squared up. I've never been like, let's go, man. I'm like, it just has never happened. I was too small when I was a kid. And as an adult, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
What about mad? What about getting choked out? You didn't fight. Somebody just whooped your ass. Like, give me something, John. Come on.
You know what? Here's an awesome, this is actually a great story. This is hilarious. Okay. So I went to the University of Virginia, and my roommate belonged to a fraternity. I did not belong to a fraternity. And I was going to meet up with my roommate. And I'm a gregarious guy, right? I'm loud. I've always been loud. People even say obnoxious. I'll give it to them. It's fine. But I went to a fraternity alone looking for my roommate. And I literally was hanging out in the basement. There was a band playing at a frat party in a frat house at UVA. I am literally standing in the back all on my own. And some drunk dude out of nowhere just punched me in the face and broke my nose. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I go to the emergency room. I'm like, I just got my nose broken. Now let's consider the source. I'm going home. I was all by myself. Never found my roommate. I'm all by myself. And I'm coming home and I'm like, I'm all like packed up and everything. And I'm like, man. And everyone's like, you were running your mouth. You were being obnoxious. I'm like, I didn't even say anything. And nothing happened. That's the truth. That guy ended up, so I was like, you know what? This dude punched me in the nose. So there's a thing called student judice court where it's like the law students. So I took this guy all the way and I was like, you can't do that. They ended up expelling him in abeyance. And it was myself, John Brenkus versus the entire fraternity. They lined up, person by person saying, oh, he was very threatening and he was causing problems. And I was one of one. I just stand up. I literally got on the stand to this student judice court and I said, just look at me. And I won. That was it.
That is so good. You know what I took from that story? The funniest part, I hate to do this, is when you first went in front of the committee or whatever, the student judicial court, and you said in your opening statement, you can't do this. I know that just turned everybody on your side. Like, yeah, you just can't walk up to somebody and punch them. Funny story for me, John, in a similar vein, except It happened in front of my girlfriend at the time in the 8th grade.
Boy.
Oh man, who doesn't go to a basketball court and try to throw the ball the length of the court and make it, right? Steph Curry shots before Steph Curry.
Totally.
So I'm in the 8th grade, launching the ball, and I launched one, and this one didn't go the way I wanted it to, and it hit my friend, Brian Bimbo, in the head. Now, this is 90 feet away, a ball coming. You could do the sports science on it. Basically, it's going to hurt, right? Whop, hit him in the head. Now, Brian was a little dude, but like a fire hydrant, little pit bull, right? And he could run. But no one, and I say this humbly, no one in the country at that time could beat me running because I was the national champion in the 400. So good luck, You're going to try and catch me. So I'm running and jogging, looking back, laughing. He is breathing fire, coming. I literally ran around our school, Overwright Junior High School, for about 15 minutes. Just like, dude, you're not going to catch me. You're the homie, but stop playing. And finally, I didn't get tired. I just got tired of running from him and him not catching me. So I turned around. I was like, Brian, in my mind, you got to be cooled off by now. It's over. It doesn't hurt anymore. So I turned around. I was like, Brian, my bad, man. Came in for the bro hug. My bad, man. And he went, yeah! Oh! And hit me in my nose. And my nose hit the back of my head. And blood went volcano everywhere. And the worst part wasn't the punch. Wasn't that he broke my nose, shattered my nose. Wasn't the fact that I was sitting there embarrassed in front of everybody in the school. It's because my girlfriend looked at me and said, oh, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. And she came to comfort me. And it felt so bad. Like, not only did I just hit this dude with a ball, but this is the response. I think those are different levels. But he got my girlfriend, Davita Adams, in the white Guess jeans, getting blood on her because she's trying to take care of her boo-boo. And it just felt all bad in that moment, John. So, look, I don't know.
Did it end there?
Say it again?
Did it end there, or did you retaliate?
Oh, no, you know how it goes in school fights and street fights. Once you see blood, we declare a winner. I couldn't have won. Like, there's nothing I could have done to beat up Brian Bimbo in that moment because I look like tomato soup, So in that moment, it was a wrap. And this is the funniest part. Went to the doctor, obviously, got my nose fixed, everything. He was like, you can go back to school in a few days. It took me 2.5 weeks, not to heal, but to feel enough. Like, my parents were really like, are you okay? I was like, I'm embarrassed. I can't go back to school. I'm not doing it. And Davita gonna look at me like I'm a punk. So it took me forever to do it, John. And I finally got the courage to do it. So it's funny just watching this Shannon story. Like you said, the end game wasn't going to be Brian Bimbo or Dylan Brooks punching him in the nose. It wasn't going to be the guy at UVA punching him in the nose or John Morant. So what really was this about? Yeah. It kind of looked a little silly in that moment. Well, let's transition right here and get to the Wileyism for the day. Gets John response, and then I'll respond. Today's Wileyism is you become who you are before you know who you are. You become who you are before you know who you are. John Brenkus, I know you got something for this one. It hits you in the heart right there. What does that Wileyism do for you?
So I love it because the reality is, like the way that I internalize it is that being is living. Right? Like, I am the art of being. Okay, I am present. Like I've said before, you're present and you're doing the things that you feel like you should be doing. What happens is as you're doing it, you develop habits that then define who you are because they are an expression of who you are. And you have become who you are. That habit is formed before you are like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to develop this habit. And once that cements, you're like, oh my God, you know what? This is the kind of person I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what I stand for. It just kind of happened. I didn't premeditate it, but it just occurred. And that that's what I get out of it, is that you kind of wake up one day and say, man, this is who I am.
Yeah, man. For me, it's like your occupation or whatever your experiences are, they reveal who you truly are. Like you have to go through that process to get exposed to things, to really see more things on the outside, to know who you are on the inside. You go through that journey. And, you know, youth is wasted on the young. So when you're 15 or 20 or even 25, you feel like, all right, I got it. All good. I know exactly who I am. But based on the level of exposure or lack of exposure, the journey's just beginning at those ages, right? Because I look back at my 25-year-old self and I was like, damn, I thought I knew something. This is the guy that's playing for the San Diego Chargers at the time, you know, and I'm doing well in life and doing well in ball, and I'm single and I'm loving life and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, the opportunities and platforms and things I was doing then, amazing. How I handled it in comparison to how I would handle it today, almost embarrassing. Like, dude, what were you up to? You don't even understand it. So you got to go through that experience and exposure to get to your essence. And that's who you really are. It's like this revelation. And it almost happens on the daily now because you're so mindful of it. Like at our age, we get it now. We can see that we're not just our thoughts, but we're also a greater expression than just what we're thinking. It's discipline. It's all about what we want to apply ourselves to. So it was amazing when I saw that Wileyism. I was like, yeah, that's pretty deep. Because you could be at some place and thinking that's who you are, but in reality, it's just on a mission to show you more of who you are.
Absolutely. You know, I believe the defining characteristic of a champion is the ability to recognize patterns. So pattern recognition is when people talk about experience, you can experience something, but if you didn't learn from it, it's not really experience. If you can recognize the pattern, then that is what will make you a champion in life and sports and whatever. And you have to have enough things occurring where a pattern emerges when you say, oh, I recognize this pattern. And you know, like I've told you before that I haven't had a drink since I was 20. And the reason being is I saw the pattern. I drink and bad things happen. So I'm like, wow, this is going to end really badly. And everyone says, well, you're 51 now. You can certainly have a drink and not have bad things happen. I'm like, I don't want to find that out, to be honest with you. I'm like, maybe something bad doesn't happen this time, but next time it probably will. So I recognize that pattern. It is something that defines who I am because it's showing myself that I have the discipline to not go down a road I know is not fruitful. Not that I'm against alcohol. It's just that I know I can't handle it. Therefore, I need to replace it with something that I can handle.
Man, that's some grown man talk right there. The difference between experience and just doing something, right? You got to see those patterns. And John, I haven't had a drink in 11, 12 hours. And let me just tell you that a guy who can blame it on the alcohol is a guy that I like to hang out with. But you know what, John? You keep the party going. Even if you're sober, it's still going to be high energy and lots of fun, man. Well, I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching us today on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Continue to support us on this show as we journey into all the life lessons from headline stories all across sports, entertainment, and culture. See you guys next time on Never Shut Up. For John Brenkus, Marcellus Wiley, peace. We gone.